Okay, friends, we're back. Your favorite podcast show of the week. It's Location Weekly. It's episode number 645. We're recording on November the 14th. And Brianna, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Asif?
I'm okay. I'm back and not traveling, so that's kind of good because it's been a whirlwind the last little while, and just settled in at home here, and weather's still good, so I can't complain.
Nice. Yes, enjoying the autumn leaves, and they're still on the trees for now.
Yes, okay, exactly. Well, we've got a good show ahead for you. Four stories as usual, and I'll let Brianna kick it off for us this week.
All right. Well, speaking of beauty, we're going to go to a beauty story from Ulta, and they are debuting some smart vending machines. They're starting this at 10 stores across the US right now, and they have formed an exclusive partnership with a company called SOS. I believe SOS is also female founded, which is pretty cool. But they have this network of smart vending machines. They have like these modern and premium health and wellness products that they're pushing out. And it includes this large touch screen. So think of like digital in-store signage as well as part of that. And it's also helping expand their retail media network, which is called UB Media. Um, so they're like kind of thinking that this advertising partner pilot program that they're doing is going to deepen customer engagement, right? Also driving brand growth and adoption, like being more aware of these brands and maybe brands that are newer to the scene, by giving them an opportunity to get their products in front of customers. And the kind of cool value exchange is like right now they're starting this off with free samples only for Ulta's Ultimate Rewards loyalty members. So ideally, they're hoping that this will maybe incentivize people to sign up, but it also will be something that they can only claim one free sample per week. So there's all these different travel size products that they'll be able to, get every week, across these popular brands, and they'll enter their phone number or email to access that information. So again, going back to value exchange, we always talk about that. They're giving something of value with their unique identifiers, right? Being able to understand who is actually engaging with these touchscreens and getting these products to try. And they're getting a free product in return. So obviously, I mentioned the interactive advertising platform, as like a digital in-store screenage. So I think this is like a great offering. It's like I like they're starting off small. I think it touches some of the key things that we make sure. Like one, what is the value exchange that it's providing? Two, it is interactive. It's putting the brands in front of people that maybe they wouldn't usually get into, and it's bringing in that data component with the retail media network. So I think it's a win across all fronts. So I think it's a great partnership. And I didn't see a list of the stores that they're doing a POC in, but if I hit up an Ulta and see it, maybe I'll take a picture. Although these days I try to avoid. I'm like online. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like this. I think there's a general trend. At the Retail Local Conference in Atlanta a few weeks ago, there was a lot of discussion about sort of kiosks and vending machines, and one of the speakers spoke of I guess, a competitor company to this called Freosk, and it's similarly like they're doing product sampling more in grocery and pharma, than in the beauty category, but the same kind of thing. And it's all about value exchange. In their case, it's scan this QR code and fill out this form or provide your email address or phone number, and you get the new pumpkin spice Oreo sample or whatever it is that they're offering that week. So yeah, I think there's a lot going on in this space, and I think part of that is this retail media network discussion that we've been having, because on these kiosks there are screens, and those screens can be monetized with advertising. So I think there's a huge opportunity here. Yeah, I didn't see a list of stores, but it did say that there's 10 cities in New York, Massachusetts, Florida, California, and Texas. So if you're in those states, you'll just have to go and figure out which stores are offering the free sampling, I guess. I don't know. So, Brianna, you're going to have to do some investigation in New York and figure it out.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah. All right, on to our second story then. So Google is ramping up their search tools, in particular for small business. One of the things I really like about this is they've now in the search results when it shows up, with the listing for that business, it has a tag now that defines it as a small business, and I think this is very interesting because they say that the research and the numbers say 84% of people are care about supporting local or small businesses. That's important to them. So, if you're able to see that, this is a small business, it's not part of some chain, or some big corporate, you're more likely to support that. So having that call out, if you will, on the listing, I think is super interesting. In addition to this, they're launching some new AI tools for helping these small businesses create and manage product imagery. So, images associated with their listings and their posts. They call this Product Studio. It's available only in the US initially. And so you'll be able to basically create images using like text to image type of technology. So with AI creating those, you text in, kind of, written description of what you want, and then it creates a product image or background for you. It has also the ability to remove the background from the image to, make it transparent and things like that are very helpful when you're trying to do these kinds of things. And the platform, this AI image generation platform, Product Studio, will also be available in both the Google and YouTube apps for Shopify merchants. So I think that's really cool. So a lot happening here, and really getting behind trying to support small business. I think they're facing a lot more competition from Facebook, like from Meta in general in this space, around pages and business listings and things like that. So, I guess they're trying to ramp up the tools to stay relevant. Any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I love this. I think this is a great tool for SMBs. And I think that like it seems small, but just the ability to quickly edit or kind of know what you're looking to do and have the tools to do it. I think that most of the time, like AI has been such a hot topic lately, right? And whenever I'm on these panels or in conversations, a lot of times it's big companies having these conversations, right? And you don't think of the small guy and how do they get started? Yes, you could use, Chat GPT to make a story or something like that, maybe write some content. But beyond that, I think this is a very applicable way to bring AI to those small to medium sized businesses, those mom and pop shops. I think of like my husband has a business that he runs and it's just a few employees. So, like, how do you get it in the hands of people that can really utilize it? So, I think this is great. And I'm excited to like share this with him for some of the work that he does and like the creative stuff that he has to edit and push out. It just seems like a very easy and seamless introduction. So this is a Google story I can get behind. I like
It's great when you can bring your work, talk home, right?
It's
To the
always,
relationship.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So now we're going to go to a sports story just to keep it mixed up a little bit. And this is Public App. And if you haven't heard of Public App, it's probably because you are not in India, but India has this app, and it's their number one app for local updates. And it's now taking on this new campaign that is focused around cricket stadiums and the Cricket World Cup for this year. So, cricket is a big deal in most places besides the United States and probably maybe besides Canada as well. But it's a really big sport, very well followed. And so now they're kind of taking this trivia adventure through all these iconic cricket stadiums. So the app user has a 70 million user base. That is huge, right? And now they have access to this like special CWC, so Cricket World Cup 23 location scan information cards. So basically, you can scan at any of these cricket locations where these like playoffs are taking place, and you can get a variety of information about the history of the team. You can get some individual records. You could even see like these like key plays or moments that have happened at that stadium. And then it will be like all focused on where that day's match is taking place. It also includes trivia about that stadium specifically. So, like maybe when it was built or anything that, was encompassing some of the style and design elements that they chose. It's also going to be available in English and Hindi, as well as that regional language where the state match is taking place. As you know, India has like so many different languages. So I think that's a really cool feature in and of itself, and probably a lot to take on. And then to amplify the campaign, you and I always talk about this part too, is like, how do you make sure that people are aware of what's happening? And so now app users can share those like trivia cards or anything across social media and messaging platforms. So I like this campaign. I like that it's focused on something that's timely. It's bringing in the location elements of where that game is taking place, and the teams, as well as the language of that location. So that's really cool in my mind. And then the shareability of it, I think, is a great win. And obviously, the foundation here is that they have 70 million app users. So let's start with that. But I think this is a great campaign, and exciting for all those cricket fans out there.
Yeah, 70 million users is nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Uh, that's almost double the population of Canada. So let's just start with that. So, not quite, but yeah, almost there. It's funny. Cricket is very much a global sport, as you say. It's not big in the U.S. It is big, relatively big in Canada, and growing very, very fast right here. They're building a massive cricket stadium here in Toronto right now, which is actually going to be owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the same group that owns the Leafs and the Raptors and the MLS team and so on. So that's, to me, is a signal of the growth of the sport in this country. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fans here, and we are part of the Commonwealth, so we have that British, colonial heritage with cricket. So there is that. So it is here.
Yeah.
Uh, the campaign, I love this. I think this is exactly what you need to be doing in sporting venues, be it cricket or baseball or anything else, is creating great entertainment experiences. So that beyond what's happening on the pitch or on the field, right? I think it's we've seen at Retail Local at Mall of America earlier this year. We had the chief digital officer for the Minneapolis. For the Twins come and speak, and he was talking about their augmented reality gaming experiences that are layered on top of the field. And in some ways, this is similar, executed in a different way with these location cards. And I love the trivia aspects. I love the fact that they have these what they call flashcards as well, which is like, when whatever the match is, when those two teams historically have faced each other, they should kind of show what happened between those two teams in the past, so you can kind of stoke the rivalry up a little bit, live, as it's happening again. The trivia about the actual stadium, and like unique things about that. I think it's really cool that way. And to your point, I think we always talk about how do you amplify this. I mean, you already have 70 million people, but if you can reach new users, expand that even further in terms of more downloads, by sharing this, on social platforms, I think this is massive. So, I could see, if I'm these guys, I'm sitting here going like, okay, we've got this locked up in India. Let's take this app now into U.S. sporting venues, and to see what experiences we can create there. I mean, this, to me, there's no reason to limit this. So I really like it. I think it's great. Or at least start with cricket around the world, like in the UK or the West Indies, or somewhere else. Kind of just build upon this. But I really like it. I think it's a great campaign. So well done.
Very cool.
Okay, final story. We're going to jump over now to a collaboration between an uh, Italian company that makes vending machines, coffee vending machines in particular, uh, and a Chinese robot self-driving delivery company. So the Italian company is called Rhea Vendors Group, and the Chinese company is called Neolix, Neolix. And they have teamed up, and they just showcased at the China International Import Expo in Shanghai a new combination of vending machine with self-driving tech, to really kind of capitalize on the very, very fast-growing coffee market in China. And so essentially, instead of you going to Starbucks or the coffee store to get your coffee, through a mobile app they've developed, you can order your coffee, and whatever drink you want, and then this self-driving unmanned robotic vehicle will bring the coffee to you wherever you are, based on your location. So I think this is really kind of interesting. We've seen some of these kind of self-driving vehicles before. We haven't seen it. I have not seen one where it's like a sort of vending machine kiosk sort of all built into the vehicle, just prepping the coffee for you on the fly and then just bringing it to you. So I think that's kind of cool because usually when we see these kind of vehicles, it's like, Domino's Pizza or somebody, and like, it's coming from a store where they've made the pizza and they put it into the little robot, and the robot goes, on its way carrying that. This is all prepped in the vehicle itself, and then kind of just the vehicle then just drives to wherever it needs to go based on, the request from the mobile app. The other thing that's I think is good is the vehicle is powered by renewable energy sources. So they kind of tapped into that, and this is not new for Neolix. Neolix has been doing automated delivery vehicles for JD and FedEx. They have over 1,000 vehicles across 12 countries right now that they're deploying. So I think this is something that we need to watch. It's obviously capitalizing on a very fast growing demand for coffee in China, which has been a for relatively new thing over the last year. It's growing at a rate of 30% year over year right now. So that's huge. Obviously, we're in a much more mature coffee market here in North America, but I think this is a good combination of tech and sort of meeting demand and kind of environmental concerns all in one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have a ton to add. I wish that they had this with like, I would say I'm not a snob about very much, but coffee is one of those things that I will stick to my Bustelo no matter what. So if they could just put Bustelo on wheels, like I'll be a very, very happy camper. But yeah, I like this. And I think that like it's really cool to see how coffee is expanding in China now at that rapid rate. I would think of obviously like Asia tends to be more tea drinking. But it just shows that like coffee and tea and that industry is still very lucrative and growing, which is crazy. So I think this is really cool. Obviously, I think the consideration is like it works in dense urban areas likely better than, running out into Westchester and New York. So yeah, I think that this is like a great opportunity, especially where they have it. So very cool.
Yeah, and I think, when you think about China and, densely populated versus more rural, obviously the app penetration, kind of numbers will go hand in hand with that. So I think it makes sense in that context as well. So yeah, let's see the birth of the barista on demand. So, all right. Well, that's our show for this week. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. This has been episode number 645 of Location Weekly. Just as a kind of glimpse forward, as we roll into the end of the year, obviously, we will have our prediction show coming up, around the holidays. And then immediately following that, for those of you who are going to be there, we will be at CES. The second week of January, we'll be at NRF the week after that. So there are lots of opportunities to connect and get involved with what we're doing here. And I just also want to give one plug. We did at the recent Retail Local Conference. So our Best Retail Cases platform, if you have a case study that of a great use case or collaboration that you've done in retail or e-commerce or some sort of technology related to the world of location or proximity, just go to bestretailcases.com, get your case listed there because we have the awards ceremony coming up at NRF. We'd love to include you in that jury selection. So, all right,
Awesome.
thank you everybody. We'll see you next week for another show. Take care.
Mhm.
Bye.